Sleeping Beauty reimagined. In a kingdom where myths shaped destinies, one young princess was about to discover that time itself can be dangerous, especially when you ignore the warnings meant to protect you. Princess Aurora was not the delicate, silent princess the stories love to describe. She was curious, brave, and more stubborn than every guard in the kingdom combined. She wanted answers, even when adults told her not to look for them. Her home, the Dawnlight Kingdom, held one unbreakable rule.
No one must climb the ancient clock tower when night falls.
Aurora always wondered why. One evening, during the Lantern Festival, she noticed something strange. A shadowy figure cloaked in blue and silver slipped through the crowd, moving toward the forbidden tower. Everyone whispered,
"It's him, Atlantis, the tower's guardian, the cursed one."
But Aurora didn't believe in rumors. She followed him. At the base of the tower, Atlantis paused. His glowing teal eyes reflected the moonlight, and his voice was calm but firm.
"Princess Aurora, this place is not safe for you."
She stepped forward anyway.
Why does everyone fear you? And what danger hides inside this tower?
Atlantis hesitated. For centuries, people had judged him without listening.
"Because they misunderstand what I protect."
He lifted a hand toward the tower's ancient gears.
"There is a forgotten hour, the 25th hour, sealed away long ago. If the clock ever strikes it, time will fold, and you will fall into a sleep you can never awaken from."
Aurora's breath caught.
That's just an old legend.
Atlantis shook his head.
"Legends are warnings that survive the truth."
Just then, a tremor shook the tower. The gears groaned. The hands of the clock jerked forward on half an inch. A sound echoed above them. Clang. Aurora flinched.
What was that?
Atlantis stared upward.
"Someone tampered with the mechanism."
Aurora's eyes widened.
My parents, the festival. If the clock strikes wrong,
"It will strike the forbidden hour."
Atlantis finished.
"And you will be the one affected. The curse has followed your bloodline for generations."
Aurora swallowed hard, fear mixing with determination.
then let me help fix it.
Atlantis studied her.
"The climb is dangerous. Shadows test your will. The gears judge your courage. And if you hesitate..."
Aurora lifted her chin.
I won't.
So they climbed. Inside the tower, time behaved strangely. Dust floated upward instead of falling. Lantern flames burned blue. Whispers curled through the air like wind trapped inside a story. Halfway up, Aurora froze as shadowy shapes formed around her, reflections of her fears.
You're not meant to be brave.
The shadows hissed.
You're only meant to sleep.
Aurora's heart pounded. Her legs shook. Atlantis placed a steadying hand on her shoulder.
"Courage isn't the absence of fear.
He said softly.
It's choosing to move anyway."
Hearing that, Aurora stepped forward and the shadows shattered into harmless dust. Finally, they reached the top. A vast gear chamber glowing with ancient runes. Someone had removed a golden sealing gear, the piece that kept the 25th hour locked away. Atlantis scanned the floor.
"There was an intruder here, someone who wanted the curse awakened."
Aurora spotted the missing gear lying near the edge.
I'll get it.
Before Atlantis could warn her, the clock lurched violently. Clang, clang. One strike away from the forbidden number. Wind roared as the world tilted. Aurora lost her footing, but Atlantis caught her with one arm, anchoring her as debris swirled around them.
"Aurora!"
He shouted over the chaos.
"Listen to me. Time reacts to your choices. If you fear it, it accelerates. If you face it, it obeys."
Aurora clenched her jaw, stretched her arm toward the gear, and grabbed it. Atlantis guided her to the center mechanism.
"Set it here and be certain. Time respects certainty."
With a deep breath, Aurora snapped the gear into place. The tower screamed, then hummed, then fell silent. The clock slowed. The hands returned to their rightful positions. The forbidden hour dissolved like smoke. Atlantis released a quiet sigh.
"You've restored what your ancestors sealed. You've broken the curse."
Aurora smiled shakily.
You helped me.
Atlantis bowed his head.
"You listened. That is something your kingdom has forgotten how to do."
Down below, the festival lights flickered back to life. Music returned to the streets. The kingdom had no idea how close they came, to losing their princess and time itself. Aurora looked at Atlantis with gratitude.
You're not a villain.
She said softly.
You're the reason this kingdom still stands.
Atlantis smiled for the first time.
And you, Princess Aurora, are the first to see the truth rather than the rumor.
Together they descended the tower. Aurora's courage had saved her. Atlantis's guidance had saved the kingdom, and from that night on, she carried a new understanding. The danger isn't in the legend. The danger is in refusing to face it. And the Dawnlight Kingdom, at last, learned to listen.